फ्रेंड्स, आज हम करेंगे चैप्टर 7 क्लास 6 जियोग्राफी का, जिसका नाम है आर कंट्री इंडिया. सो आर कंट्री इंडिया इज़ very much big countries. In the north side we have Himalayas, in the south side we have Indian Ocean, in the west side we have Arabian Sea, in the east side we have Bay of Bengal. So India is known to have Indian Peninsula. Peninsula is a piece of land which is surrounded by water on three sides. Like in India, in the south side there is Indian Ocean, in the north side there is in the west side there is Arabian Sea, in the east side there is Bay of Bengal. Okay, so India is known as Indian Peninsula. India has an a India has an area of about 3.28 million square kilometers. So India is the seventh largest country in the world. Okay. So from north to south, it has an extension of 3,200 kilometer, and from west to east it has an extension of about 2,900 kilometer. Okay, so in India there is everything: the great Himalayas, the great Indian desert in Rajasthan, the northern plains, the Deccan Plateau. There are islands, there are coastal areas, western coastal area, eastern coastal area, and there is a great variety in the climate, in the vegetation, in the wildlife, as well as in the language and culture. India is very much diverse country, as it has different, as every person, every tradition has different language, different culture, different climate. Like in north side there is very much cold, in south side there is very much rain. Okay, so India is a very diverse country. In this diversity, we find unity that is reflected in traditions that bind us as one nation. In this diversity, we have unity, okay, which bind all the Indians and make them one. Okay, one nation, one country. India has a population of about 120 crore since 2011, and India has the most population. India is on second number, which has most population, and China is the first country which has the largest number of population. Okay, so now let's know what is locational setting of India. India, the Tropic of Cancer, 23 degree 30 north, passes almost half away through country. Like here it is given. See, the Tropic of Cancer is given here, and it almost this Tropic of Cancer almost divides India into two parts. Okay, so India is in the northern hemisphere. Okay, and from south to north, mainland of extends between, see, from north latitudes. So from north to south, the latitudinal location is 8 degree. Sorry, from north to south, the latitudinal location is 8 degree 4 north, and here is 37 degree 6 north. Okay, and from west to east, the longitudinal location is 97 68 degree 7 east and 97 degree 25 east longitudes. Okay. Now think of that if we divide the world into western hemisphere and eastern hemisphere, then which side India will come? Due to great longitudinal extent of about 29 degrees, there could be wide differences in local time places located at two extreme points of India. Like we have seen in previous chapter, that India has standard time, and there are many more countries like USA, Russia, which they are very big country and they need more standard times. So Russia has 11 standard times total. The world has total 24 standard times. 1 degree is equal to 4 minutes. Okay, we have learned in chapter number 2. So we have seen that India has a time zone of about 82 degree 30 east. Okay, 82 degree 30 east is known as the standard meridian of India. Like first the sun rises up to east. Okay, so in Arunachal Pradesh has the time, like if there is 11 p.m. in Arunachal Pradesh, then in 2 hours earlier in the east. Like if there is 11 p.m. in Arunachal Pradesh, there will be 9 p.m. in 9 p.m. in 9 p.m. in Gujarat. The sun rises 2 hours earlier in the east in the Arunachal Pradesh. Okay, so there are 7 countries so there are total 7 countries in which the boundaries are touching somewhere in India, like Pakistan, Afghanistan, Nepal, Bhutan, Bangladesh, Myanmar, and China. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And there are also 2 countries, that's Sri Lanka and Maldives, whose boundary is not touching with India but they are very close to us. Okay, so here you can see the Indian political map. Okay, Sri Lanka and Maldives. Sri Lanka and Maldives is separated from India by the Palk Strait. Okay, they are separated from India by the Palk Strait. Now, political and administrative divisions. Like India is divided into 28 states and 9 union territories in 2020. You can see here is the Indian physical map. Okay, and here is the Deccan Plateau, like Indian peninsula. This is the Deccan Plateau. There are coastal areas. This is eastern coastal area and western coastal area. And here is the Great Himalayas, the northern plains, and the Great Indian Desert. Okay, so here you can see there are 3 main rivers: Ganga, Brahmaputra, and Indus, who are rising in only one direction, who are in one direction only, to the east sides. Okay, Delhi is the national capital. Okay, the states have been formed mainly on the basis of language. Okay, so now what are physical divisions? India has total 6 physical divisions. Like India has total 6 physical divisions: the Peninsula Plateau, okay, the Peninsula Plateau, the island the Great Indian Desert, okay, the Great Indian Desert, the Himalayas, the northern plains, okay, the northern plains and the coastal areas, okay. These are the six physical divisions of India. Like we can see in the Great Himalaya, it is divided into three parts. Okay, the Himalaya is divided into three parts. The upper one is known as Himadri or Great Himalaya. The middle one is known as Middle Himalaya, and the lowest one is known as Shivalik, which is the southernmost range. Okay, it is in the south. Is the southernmost range. Okay. Then comes the northern plains, okay, North Indian plains lies to the South Himalayas, okay. This northern plains lies to the south of Himalayas, okay. Here is Himalaya, so in the south lies in the south, here is northern plains, okay. These are formed by alluvial deposits laid down by rivers the Indus, the Ganga, the Brahmaputra, and the tributaries. Like I told you earlier that there are three rivers flowing nearer to northern Indian plains: the Ganga, the Indus, the Brahmaputra, with the tributaries like Chenab, Ravi, and many more. Okay. These river plains provide fertile land for cultivation. That is the reason for high concentration of population in these plains. Okay. So now let's see what are alluvial deposits. These are very fine soils brought by rivers and deposited in the river basins. Okay. These are very fine soils. Okay. Alluvial deposits are very fine soils which are brought by the rivers, like in the northern plain. This alluvial deposits, these are brought by the river Ganga, Brahmaputra, and Indus. Okay. And they are deposited then in the river basins. Okay. Now in the western part of India, in the Rajasthan, lies the Great Indian Desert. It is dry, hot, and sandy stretch of land. It has very little vegetation. Like we know that in Rajasthan there is not very much rainfall, so the area is hot, dry, and sandy, and there is not much vegetation or cultivation. Okay. Now comes our peninsular plateau. Okay, it is triangular in shape. Like we know that in peninsular plateau, three sides are surrounded by oceans. Okay, it is triangular in shape. The relief is highly uneven. This is a region with numerous hill ranges and valleys. Aravalli Hills, one of the oldest ranges of the world, border it on the northwest side. Okay. So now we were on the peninsular plateau. We have done that. So this is region with numerous hill ranges and valleys. Aravalli Hills, one of the oldest ranges of the world, border it on the northwest side. Okay. The Vindhyas and the Satpuras are the more important ranges. The rivers Narmada and Tapi flow through these ranges. There are west flowing rivers that drain into Arabian Sea. The Western Ghats or Sahyadris border the plateau in the west, and the Eastern Ghats provide the eastern boundary. While the Western Ghats are almost continuous, the Eastern Ghats are broken and uneven. The plateau is rich in minerals like coal and iron ore. Like we can see here, that here is the Arabian Sea, here are Western Ghats. Okay, here are the Eastern Ghats and Western Ghats. Okay, the coast, here are the coastal areas, like in the Western Ghats flow Krishna, in the Eastern Ghats flow Godavari, and you can see here Satpura range, Vindhya range. Okay, Tapi, Narmada. Okay, here is the Deccan Plateau. Okay, so in the western sides there are Western Ghats, and the eastern sides there are Eastern Ghats, and the Eastern Ghats are mostly broken. Okay, and this Ghats, between these two Ghats is the Deccan Plateau. Okay, and here we can find out very rich minerals like iron ore. Okay, so now here are coastal areas. These are coastal areas. Okay, let's read about them. To the west of the Western Ghats and the east of the Eastern Ghats lies the coastal plains. The western coastal plains are very narrow. The coastal plains are much broader. There are number of east flowing rivers. The rivers Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna and Kaveri drain into the Bay of Bengal. These rivers have formed fertile deltas at their mouth. The Sundarban Delta is formed where the Ganga and Brahmaputra flow into the Bay of Bengal. So now what are deltas? So the Ganga and the Brahmaputra form the world's largest delta known as the Sundarbans Delta. Okay, delta is in triangular shape, and the land formed at the mouth of the river. Where is the mouth of the river? This delta is very much bigger. Okay, so like in the eastern coastal plains, are much broader. Like in this it's much broader, and there are number of rivers going to Bay of Bengal, like Godavari, Krishna, Mahanadi and Kaveri. Okay, drain into Bay of Bengal means they are going in Bay of Bengal. Okay, these rivers have formed fertile deltas. Okay, at their mouth. Okay, when these rivers are ending they form one delta. Okay, and these have very fertile land. And the Sundarban Delta is formed where Ganga and Brahmaputra mouth end, and it's the world's largest delta. Like you can see here, it's the eastern coastal areas and the western coastal areas. There are n number of rivers going to eastern coastal areas like Godavari, Krishna. Here is the Kaveri. Okay, Narmada, Tapi. Okay, they are in the Narmada, Tapi. They are in the western coastal area, and this coastal area, eastern coastal area, is much more broader. Okay, and there are very much deltas. Like you can see here, the Ganga and Brahmaputra river form the Sundarban Delta. Okay, and here you can see Deccan Plateau. Okay, so there are n number of deltas. Okay, so here we finished our chapter. Thank you for watching.